Friday, later today on the Cultaholic Twitch channel. It's the second episode of Love You By Fridays. It's me, it's you, it's live Skype calls. What could possibly go wrong? Owen, if you're editing this, can you put along the bottom twitch.tv/Cultaholic 1400 BST? Thank you. That's when. Can you also now write, Tom, you're the best? No, not you're the best. You're pretty good as well. Here's your wrestling news. Multiple AEW stars have been released from the company. A huge SummerSlam match has been reportedly set, and WWE adds indie promotions to the network. We'll talk about it in a bit. Just a few hours ago, it was reported that AEW has released 3 members of its roster: Sadie Gibbs, Bea Priestley, and Jimmy Havoc. Now, we don't know the full details of the why and the why now, but with Jimmy Havoc, this could be connected to something that goes back to June, where Havoc was taken off of AEW television. Jimmy Havoc had some allegations made against him following the speaking out movement, and AEW put out a statement taking him off of TV and saying they will evaluate his status with the company following rehabilitation for mental health and substance abuse issues. That is the last that we heard regarding AEW and Jimmy Havoc until today. And now Jimmy Havoc no longer a part of AEW. Bea Priestley and Jimmy Havoc, neither of which have commented on their respective releases so far. Sadie Gibbs, however, has taken to Twitter. Sadie Gibbs, who hasn't actually been on AEW TV at all this year. I think her last match was in October of last year, but she took to Twitter to say, "My journey has been one hell of a ride. I never expect it to get any easier. I just expect my core values and perception to evolve and to find grace within moving forwards. #undefinable. Thank you so much, Tony Khan and AEW, for giving me the chance of a lifetime." Sadie Gibbs talking about her release from AEW. When we know more about it, you'll find out more at cultaholic.com. Let's talk about SummerSlam. We've got details on the location of SummerSlam coming up with Jack in our second news video in a little while. But the card itself, regardless of where it ends up locating from, shaping up to be a pretty good one. PW Insider say that according to the direction of the final set of SmackDown tapings ahead of SummerSlam, AJ Styles looks set to defend his Intercontinental Championship on that show against Jeff Hardy. Now, it's not much time for a build for a match like this, but these two have the potential to steal the show. AJ Styles and Jeff Hardy have had matches in TNA wrestling in the past. I'd love to see some of that energy coming through on SummerSlam a week from Sunday. Despite the lack of build towards it, AJ Styles and Jeff Hardy could put on a blinder. Enjoying AJ Styles' work as Intercontinental Champion now. It's re-establishing that idea that the Intercontinental Championship is sort of the workhorse belt. Like if you have that belt, then you're defending it every single week. Kind of what AEW is capturing with the TNT title. Like the Intercontinental Champion was always the belt which went to like the best wrestler, and they would defend it consistently. And AJ Styles is a great fit for that belt. And him versus Jeff Hardy could be a really solid match for SummerSlam. We will see how that pans out, and it should begin to take shape tonight on SmackDown. A documentary is forthcoming on a WCW star and a Mexican wrestling legend. Vampiro is getting the documentary treatment. Look out for a new wrestling show which is coming to theatres on a very minimal release, but then is going on to video on demand services everywhere. Nail in the Coffin, the fall and rise of Vampiro, this is from the press release, follows the career of the titular Mexican wrestling legend Vampiro. Directed by Michael Patz, the 88-minute documentary will be released by Epic Pictures in theatres on Friday, September the 4th. Semi-retired professional wrestler Ian Hodgkinson reveals the harsh realities behind the glamour of being in the world of wrestling as the infamous Vampiro. A lucha libre legend, Hodgkinson tells the astonishing story about his meteoric rise to fame in the 90s and how it almost killed him. Yet none of that was as backbreaking as his current life, working behind the scenes as director of talent for lucha libre AAA in Mexico City and Lucha Underground in Los Angeles, while simultaneously raising his teenage daughter Dasha in remote northern Canada as a single parent. The fact that they're referencing Lucha Underground suggests this is a product that's been around for quite some time, because I think even Lucha Underground's not a thing anymore. It just breaks my heart a little bit. Told through an engrossing collection of home videos and personal interviews with his closest friends and family, Nail in the Coffin is an intimate and genuine look into a single father grappling with fame, the pressures of professional and personal responsibilities, and his own mortality. 4 stars, some funny bits. Now, the story of Vampiro, I'm really intrigued by. Like, this is a guy that's been around, been there and done everything. And I'm up for it. I like this kind of comes across in the same vein as the resurrection of Jake the Snake Roberts. Don't know whether it will be as heartbreaking as that documentary. Will still be a really good watch when it comes out in September. And finally, the independent wrestling world is coming to the WWE Network. This is something that's been in the pipeline for a long time, and it's finally becoming a thing. So from tomorrow, you'll be able to watch independent wrestling shows from companies like ICW, Progress, Evolve, WXW. This is just the beginning of this. There's bound to be more stuff to come. This is something that WWE have been working on for ages. Recently, I think it was last month, we talked about how WWE bought the rights to the library of Evolve Wrestling, so you knew something was coming from Evolve. They've had working relationships with guys in ICW and Progress for quite some time here in the UK as well, and WXW as well, where we've seen NXT UK guys and main roster WWE guys turning up at these shows around Europe. So this is something that's been in the works for a long time. I'm really excited to see this happen. In fact, there's a few shows that are going to be dropped on the network this Saturday, kind of celebrating. It's almost like an indie Saturday on WWE Network. Tomorrow you'll be able to watch the best of Drew McIntyre in Evolve. Drew McIntyre, as Drew Galloway, had a phenomenal run in Evolve, and there's loads of great stuff that you can enjoy from there. The best of Keith Lee in Evolve. We now sing Don't You Forget About Keith. There was a point where some people didn't even know Keith. And you can watch there and you can appreciate everything there is to love about Keith Lee there. ICW Shug's Hoops Party 5, Night 2 from ICW. Now, this was the night we had Drew Galloway versus Big Damo. Like beefy boys battering each other in the main event, and you can watch that go down on the WWE Network. Also, WXW Ambition 11 is going to be on there as well. This was, and I've made a note of it here just to double check, and it is Volta versus Timothy Thatcher in the main event. Yes, that's a match. That's tasty. That's a tasty match. You're going to enjoy that as well. And Progress Wrestling 92, Entertaining Friends, is going to be on the network as well. That is where Volta takes on Ilya Dragunov in the main event. Tasty. Some tasty wrestling. This is great timing because NXT UK is still very much on downtime at the moment, so consequently there's no new stuff. But you've got this entire independent wrestling library that you could buy out and show off, which gives fresh eyes to stuff like Volta versus Dragunov and Volta versus Thatcher. This is cool. There's going to be some really good matches dropped on the network over the forthcoming weeks and months and years. So I, for one, am really happy to see this. Also, didn't mention this one actually, WXW Femme Fatales 2019. Phenomenal all-women show from Dub X Dub that is going to be very much worth your time as well. Just some really good stuff dropping on the network over the weekend and then going forward. WWE have confirmed this is just the beginning. In a statement, they said Evolve, Progress Wrestling from England, Germany's WXW and Scotland's ICW will debut for subscribers to the award-winning streaming service, giving WWE Universe a chance to see some of their favourite superstars like never before. And this is just the beginning. You'll continue to see footage from their libraries, as well as new and exciting content from all of these promotions on WWE Network in the weeks and months to come. Good times, good matches. Watch Volta versus Thatcher. That is your wrestling news for today. Thank you so much for continuing to support us here at Cultaholic. It's weird being back in the office as opposed to spending my days cat wrangling in the kitchen. But we're back in the office now. We're taking all the correct regulations and we've got guidelines in place to make sure that it's a safe working environment, because we're very much not out of the woods yet with this whole COVID-19 malarkey. But we have continued to push through the woods because you have essentially been a flashlight. So thank you so much for supporting us here at Cultaholic. We couldn't do what we do without you. And if you're free at 1400 British Standard Time today, come join me on Twitch for Love You Bye Fridays. We'll have a chat about stuff. It hasn't got to be wrestling. It can be all kinds of silliness. I'd like to see you there. It'd mean a lot. Have a great weekend. Stay safe. Love you. Bye.